Hello, my name is Dominic, and I live in the U.S. and vocationally I work in the medical software industry, and my passion is being a voice and for our persecuted brothers and sisters around the world. The Lord entrusted me with success through business, and as I prayed through and asked Him what I should do with the fruit of that success financially, I believe He led me to the Scriptures, to study the Scriptures, particularly the New Testament, and learn what does the Bible say on who the beneficiaries of our giving should be. And in doing that, came to the realization that nearly 2/3 of all the scriptures in the New Testament about who we should be giving our money to dealt with giving and supporting suffering and persecuted believers. And I was quite surprised by that, and in doing so started looking for opportunities that I too could participate in supporting the persecuted church. So I started looking for opportunities to support the persecuted church. I wanted to do that through my local church, my local denomination, but they weren't involved in that work. So I contacted ultimately the 150 largest megachurches in the U.S. and the 20 largest denominations and spoke to the leadership. And of those, only 2 of those churches and only 3 of those denominations were providing aid to the persecuted church. And doing a little bit further research, came to the realization that even though in Scripture, when the Apostle Paul told us to take up collections on Sunday, his intention was that we would actually take up collections for the specific purpose of helping suffering and persecuted believers in a foreign land. But as I did the research, I learned that less than 1/4 of 1% of all American Christian giving on Sundays goes to help the persecuted church. This was quite a paradigm shift for me and a revelation of sorts. I mean, I always knew we were supposed to help the poor, and it's something I wanted to do, but as I read through the scriptures and saw in the new commandment, Jesus in chapters 13, 14, and 15 said 4 times, love one another. And when John wrote that again in his epistle, he made it clear that our priority is to help our brothers and sisters first. And the Apostle Paul in Galatians chapter 6 said the same thing, that we're supposed to help all people, but especially those of the household of faith. And I equate that to God is love. He wants me to show His love and compassion to all people, just like in my own home and in my own family. But I have to take care of my wife and children first. And if I don't take care of my wife and children first, I have no testimony to the people outside my home. So it's not an either or, but the priority is for the family of faith first. What's so amazing about this truth and this principle and putting it in practice and how important it is Jesus said in John 13:35, He said, it's by this love that we have for one another, for our brothers and sisters, that the world's going to know that we are His disciples. And later in John chapter 17, when Jesus was praying for the church and He prayed for our love and He prayed for our unity, He said it's that love and unity that we show towards our brothers and sisters that's going to convince the world that He is the Son of God. And so it just makes it even all the more, that much more important. You know, one of the reasons why our interest and our giving to support the persecuted church from a U.S. perspective is so low is because we don't understand the New Testament. We don't understand that it was really written in the context of persecution, that it was written with the blood and tears of believers, and that's the context we're supposed to interpret it. And because of that, even in my own life, but common even in my American Christian culture is, you know, we read the Bible, we read about hospitality, and we think it means that we're supposed to have friends over for lunch after church. And we don't really understand that what it really meant was that we're supposed to provide food and shelter to Christians who have fled their homes for safety, Christian refugees. And so I have written a book called Heirloom Love. And in the book Heirloom Love, I take a fresh new look at the New Testament in the original context that it was written in persecution, and to help me and others like me who really want to learn what the New Testament says about how we're to live and how we're to love our brothers and sisters in this age of persecution.